Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Cameron.
And this is Hannah.
And we are fighting for the final marriage. We are back with another video to add to our series, Conversations Before Consummation. The topic of this video is your family history and your family culture. So we're kind of going to look back at how we grew up, look back at the dynamics of our family, and just discuss it. Learn about your partner in a way of by learning about their family. But this is just a very important thing to talk about because your family molds you. The people that you grew up with, the people that, the home that you lived in, the environment that you lived in, it matters to who you are today. And so as a person about to join into marriage or looking to marry somebody, it's important to know the background of the person that you're about to marry. It's important to become familiar and even acquaint yourself physically with those people, so that you know, even more so who they are, or what makes them who they are. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the dynamics between your parents, our parents. Mm-hmm. So the dynamic between my parents, they're still married today. They don't really, they don't come from a lineage of people who get married and stay married. So for our family, they are really generational curse breakers as far as getting married, divorce, not getting married, whatever. They're a good example of how to fight for your marriage and stay together through thick and thin. So I will say that I believe that they do have a healthy marriage. I guess from a child perspective though, my father was definitely the provider as far as working. So growing up, he would be gone. He'd be out truck driving. For a couple years, he was working overseas in Iraq, and so there was a lot of time where they weren't physically together because he was working so much and bringing income into the house and providing for us financially. So that is the dynamic. Not always physically having him around. And my mom, she would work as well. She was a working mom. She would take a couple years. She would stop when she would have another child or whatever, and she would raise them, and she would kind of stay with us. But for the most part, she was working, and we would either be with family or home until she got home. And yeah, they're just regular parents, I guess. There was no real ooh or ah. It was just, working parents trying to provide for their kids kind of thing. The biggest thing to note though was just that they stayed together and that they did their best to raise their kids. But how was your dynamic between your parents?
Dynamic between my parents, I guess you could say it's pretty typical. They are still together. They've been together for 30 years?
Wow.
30 years?
You don't know.
Next year, this upcoming year, it'll be 30.
Wow.
30 years. They're as old as my sister. Yeah, so, there you go. That's the video. No, I'm playing. So yeah, I guess the biggest thing, as far as their whole dynamic is that they really did a good job of having God or having the biblical context of a marriage in real life. So, and what I mean by that is both of them kind of respecting each other. Because my parents are very compatible, however very different, but they also do a very good job of respecting each other, what each other want, and kind of, playing off of that for both of each other. So that's what I mean by they do a very good job of having a biblical relationship as far as honoring each other and submitting to each other in different areas. And so, yeah, it was a pretty good they have a pretty solid relationship that's been built and tested by time. What else do you want from me? No, but outside of that, as far as the whole family dynamic, I feel like they both did a really good job as well, not just having a biblical relationship with each other, but also spending time with me and my sister. I can recount many times where I was with my mom and my dad alone, or me and my sister were with my dad, or me and my sister with my mom alone, like just with each other. Sometimes because it had to be that way, but other times because they wanted to spend time with us. My dad taking me to plenty of games when I was like high school games when I was little, and my mom taking me shopping with her because she wanted to go shopping. Ain't had nowhere else to go, but but like different stuff like that, to where you kind of like not just they're not just having us be the afterthought, but actually involving us in their interests and in their lives, so that we kind of knew who they were as people as well as our parents. So.
Interesting. And also, like, don't try to answer the questions how we're answering them, because we're just trying to be brief for the video. But definitely share those stories, share those one-on-one accounts that you had, go into depth, and, go through that whole lineage of, like, what happened, what happens with your parents and stuff. But the next thing we're going to talk about is the dynamic between, I guess, us and our siblings, if we have them. So, yeah, siblings.
Yeah. So I have one older sister who beat the crap out of me when I was little. But no, the dynamic between me and my sister, outside of my wife, that's my best friend, honestly. She's the only person I really talk to like that. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of forged between my parents. Because they kind of made us be together when we didn't want to be, even though we fought all the time. So, me and my sister are really close. I try to just call her whenever, just see what they got going on, check up on her and her kids, and how her and her fiance are doing, and vice versa.
Well, I am one of 4. I am the second oldest, and I have an older brother, I have a younger sister, and a little brother. So it goes brother, me, sister, brother. 2 boys, 2 girls. And I only have I have great memories with them. We used to be like a dynamic, what's the 4?
Quartet.
A dynamic quartet. Okay, so first it was just me and my brother. First it was him, of course, but I wasn't there. So it was me and my brother. And initially, like when I was little, I used to be very rough, apparently. And so he loved me, but like he couldn't stand me because I always would hurt him and he couldn't hit me back, kind of thing. But then we grew up and I learned how to handle myself, and we were good friends. Then we had another sister. And I wasn't really feeling her at first. Me and her really had a rough start. Because she's she's her own person, and I'm my own person, and we just didn't mesh well. But now that we're adult friends, adult sisters, we're best friends. And our youngest brother, he's like the favorite, so we be getting on him because he don't get whippings no more, and we just don't understand why. He's the baby of the bunch. But when we're all together, we have great memories. We laugh a lot, we joke a lot. Growing up, I don't know, I just remember us being in our rooms, talking, laughing late. We'll have, when we were really young, we used to live in this cul-de-sac with our best friends. So we had friends all in our neighbors, and we would have these huge sleepovers where all our friends would come over. We created forts in our room with different sections in it, and in each section it was a different tournament going on. So in one section we had an Uno tournament, the second section we had Super Smash Brothers going, the third section we had a Bop It tournament, and then the fourth section, I don't remember, but we had all types of stuff. And it was just that kind of home fun that my parents kind of create that environment for us to have. But we would just always be together, laughing and joking and bothering each other. So I have good memories with my siblings for the most part. We grew up very, I think, close, and I think that's why I value quality time with family. And I also think that that's why I love sleepovers. And if you know me, I love sleepovers. Girls' nights, pajamas, all for it. I think that that's why I'm like that. But as you guys talk about this, I guess you can also go into the dynamics of like who you grew up with. Did you grow up with your grandma? Did you grow up with your auntie? Did you grow up hanging out with your cousins or going to your cousin's house, or what was that like? Moving forward to our extended family, I kind of thought maybe you could talk about this more in patterns. Of course, you can go into depth about each family member if you want to, but I think it's also important to note like generational things that you notice about your family. So does your family have a generational pattern of getting married but not staying married? Do they have a pattern of being nurses and doctors? Do they have a pattern of drinking alcohol, drugs? Do they have a pattern, whatever they have a pattern of, think about it and then talk about it. Share what your patterns are, and if they're bad patterns, definitely pray and seek God on how to break those generational curses. And if they're good patterns, pray and see how you can keep those values and keep those pillars in your family when you begin to establish your own family. And just a couple of thoughts as you're having these conversations, whether it be this topic or any of the other topics, it's definitely a thing that it might bring up maybe bad feelings. It might bring up emotions that have been suppressed, or just negative emotions. And so it's important as a partner to notice when your partner is struggling to say something, when they're breaking down, when they're crying, or when they're having a moment. Notice that, and then kind of gauge whether you should help them to talk about that topic, or whether you might need to pull away from that topic and then pray about it privately or with them. It's important to kind of watch their body language and find out, what those tough areas are, so that you can attack them either in prayer or attack them in conversation.
And when doing this, please be aware of each other's body language. And I can't stress this enough. Be respectful of each other's family. Because even though what they may be trying to explain to you may not seem right or correct to you, that's still that person's family. That's still someone who played an intricate part into how they are today, and you've only been here for a small part of their life. So be respectful of their families and what their family went through, what they're going through, whatever. And don't downplay anything that they tell you. If they're saying it was something major to them, don't downplay it. That's all I got.
Yeah, be very sensitive. Just be sensitive with really anything your partner says, but especially these hard topics. And lastly, just a tip. It might be good for you in your efforts to get to know more about their family and where they came from, to actually spend time with their family. It's the holidays, to go see them, go visit with them, make an event, a birthday party, or even just a dinner, invite them over, or go to their house. Just get around them, and not to have an agenda, but just to get to know them and just be in their presence, and just be in the flow of who they are. Will be awesome. So happy talking. Have a great conversation about family, and that's our video.
And that's all. So please take 5 seconds right now. Like the video.
Just like it. Are you even subscribed?
Like the video.
You've been watching my videos, not even subscribed to us.
Like it, subscribe it, share it. In that order. Like it, subscribe, share. Oh, hit the notification bell. I be forgetting about that junk. If y'all don't press that button, y'all don't get notified when we make these videos.
You don't?
And then what happens?
You miss out.
Anyway, or don't. Do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do.
But yeah, that's it. See you guys.